Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. It's Thursday, and on Thursdays I try to do Thursday's Thirsty Thoughts, where I come up with a topic, or someone else does, as the case here, and discuss my thoughts on it, or my take, or my answer, and then hopefully you guys in the comment section give me your take. So, it's cool. It's hard for me to do live streams, and this ups the interaction, which is what this is all about. So today's topic actually comes from Steven, so I really appreciate it, Steven. He's been on a binge of these Thursday's Thirsty Thoughts videos lately, and he's like, you should do, I forget exactly how he phrased it, but how I'm going to interpret it is best beer names. And I will come up with my favorite, and I'll talk about a couple other ones that I've liked along the way. And full disclosure, wrong term, I might update this at some other time, because I tried to think about it first, and then I did search some lists in case I wasn't thinking of something or forgetting something. And then once I hear people's responses, maybe I'll also want to change it. And I'm also saying best on purpose. I'm not saying funniest, but some of these are things I thought were funny or clever. So I'm just saying best. Maybe a funniest one will be a different video. But anyway, this might get updated at some point, but here's how it stands now. I even wrote a couple things down so I don't forget. So in my craft beer journey, I've probably told this story before, but the first beer that kind of caught my attention by the name, there was the old Cooperstown Brewing Company. They had bottles, and the cap was a baseball. That was the first visual one. I'm like, what's that? I want to try it, but it had nothing to do with the name. The first one by name was Stone's Arrogant Bastard, which I think a lot of people probably would think of this. If they don't pick it, fair enough, but it'd probably be something that they would at least consider. And I remember woman I was dating at the time, this was 15 years ago, her dad was way ahead of the curve, super into craft beer, would go to conventions and trade and all that kind of stuff. Again, way ahead of the curve. And I was over at her parents' house, and he's like, oh, you like craft beer? And I'm like, yeah, I've been getting into it. It's limited. It's, trying what I can, get locally. And he went down his basement, grabbed it, and he didn't tell me what it was. I don't remember if I had heard of it or not at that point. Came up. I hadn't seen many in those 22-ounce bottles. He kind of, aggressively, but not overly aggressively, put it on the table with the Arrogant logo facing me. He had one of those wooden openers that have, is it 2 screws in it, and opened it with that. It was just between the presentation of the beer label and then how he was doing it. It was just kind of one of those moments what I'm about to try. This sounds epic, And that was for a while definitely one of those names. I was like, man, that's a good name. You don't forget Arrogant Bastard as a name. And of course, I've known people in my life who love that beer because they themselves thought of themselves as Arrogant Bastards. So it's this beer's named after me. So that was definitely an early one. It's not going to be my official pick, though. Another one, I remember being at the Ale House in Vestal, New York, which, again, ahead of the curve. And this was back when we could get, one of the early ones that you could get in New York was Rogues Brewing Company. And it was that Yellow Snow IPA. And I'm just thinking, oh, that's pretty funny. So that was one of the first ones that kind of made me chuckle when I heard the name. And then being a history guy, I've really liked 21st Amendment, a lot of their beer names. And the first one that I remember really sticking out to me was Hell or High Watermelon. And also, I hadn't had many beers with watermelon in them at that time. So it was just kind of one of those, oh, that's kind of cool as an ingredient. But drum roll, please. And I got to take a sip. Why do you move his beer over? Because there's a prop to the left of me. So this is a beer that I heard the name and I was like, whoa, I definitely want to try to get a bottle of that beer. And it might even been a different brewery at first when I first heard the name. And then I went to a beer fest, I think it was in New Jersey, and the brewery was going to be there, called Ruckus. And they were going to have the beer there for pour. So not a bottle, I wasn't going to be able to get a bottle with a label, but I was able to try the beer, and then they had printed out the label, so I was able to get a picture of it. And it is, the one I can't think over, Hoptimus Prime. Yes, I was definitely an 80s kid, well, 90s kid technically, but born in the early 80s and watched a lot of Transformers and was a huge Transformers fan. And was like, whoa, that's really a cool, clever, hops, Optimus. I'm like totally like hook, line, and sinker. I want a picture of this beer or the bottle of it. And so Optimus Prime right now I'm going to say is the best beer name ever. Maybe a controversial pick. I don't know. Let's see what people say in the comments section. So Steven, thanks again for the idea for this topic. I really appreciate it. It was really cool. If you guys ever have a topic, just let me know. You can DM me on Instagram. You can put comments on videos like this. I'll add it to my list. And if I like the topic, and I'll circle back to it. But yeah, what's your choice? What do you think is the best beer name? You can do the thing you think is the most clever, the most appropriate for the style, the funniest, however you want to interpret it is cool with me. Comment section below. Get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, more than meets the eye. Cheers.